I'm back if you need something. I go into obey Supreme Tabata. Claro. Whatever she say. Just I feel so bad I die before I fix her special robot. Oh, either one works. All I want is to make the special robot work again. You know, I give it my best. Hi, Rhonda. I don't know. Did you hit the switch? I keep telling you not to press. If by some chance you want to find me again, and if by some even greater chance the coyotes haven't picked my bones clean, I'll be at my shack. Alrighty then. I'll just head out, alone, by myself, into the dangerous waste. Got a second to talk, boss? Yeesh. These soldiers look how I feel, boss. Yeesh. Boss, are you trying to destroy my niece even faster than nature? Oh, wearing this is not going to be good to me. I can't believe I'm about to do this, boss. If I buy it out there, I want 12 mariachi bands playing at my funeral. A medal might be nice, too. Just putting this out there, boss. If these super mutants kidnap us and force us to fix toasters for them, it's on you. That's a good thing to see, huh, boss? Cheer up, kid. It's not that bad. Sure, your skin rots off, and you start to stink like a public toilet after Cinco de Mayo. But, well, assuming you survive the radiation sickness, the lynch mobs, and the possibility of going feral, one day you'll get old and decrepit, like me. What? Was it something I said? He's young, boss. He'll bounce back, unlike some of us. Questions, boss? You mean you don't know everything there is to know already? Hey, boss, can I ask you something? I guess hunting down ghouls like wild animals is okay. I mean, they're probably gonna die anyway. Right, boss? Meeting Corporal Sterling. Well, it kinda got me thinking. Here's a guy that's been beat all to hell, right? I mean, he could have retired from the service, but instead, he signs back on and does what he can. You think he did the right thing? Anything you say, boss. Just a little bit, boss. Nah, I haven't seen him. Sounds like a city slicker, though. Might try looking on the strip. You know what, boss? That's my fault for using sarcasm. Nah, I haven't seen him. Sounds like a city slicker, though. Might try looking on the strip. I remember there were some weird stories about him, especially near the end. There was a tell-all in El Periódico de las Arboridas by a starlet house dated. She said they never, don't make me spell it out, boss. Anyway, she said all he wanted to do was scan her brain and make her dress up in different outfits. Anything to hold your attention, boss. Just how old do you think I am, boss? Because I can pretty much guarantee I'm older than that. Let me tell you a story from before the Great War. Everybody knew Robert House. He was a genius, a superstar. Founded Ramco at 22. Dated Hollywood starlets, the works. They say he saved Las Vegas. I was in Mexico City when the bombs dropped. Even from there, we could see House's defensive rockets shooting down the incoming missiles. Everybody assumed he died in the war. Maybe he did. But his robots are still out there roaming the waste. And now, a Mr. House rules New Vegas. You're a veritable geyser of curiosity, boss. It's big, it's bright, and it's one of the biggest cities still left from before the war. Well, mostly anyway. Used to be just a curiosity. The buildings were pre-war. But it's just as full of raiders and barbarian tribes as any place else. Then Mr. House took over, got the power turned back on, and got the tribes reformed into something civilized. And now they run his casinos for him. It was quite the scandal, at least in the Latin American tabloid journalism market. Maybe not. Maybe the new guy is just a clever raider chief with knowledge of history. Or maybe Robert House uploaded his brain pattern into a computer and rules to this day a godless, soulless machine god. Maybe he just left instructions for his robots to carry out in his name. Maybe the whole thing's a crazy coincidence. Who knows? They're all right, I suppose. Had a bit of tough going there at the beginning. You know their first town was nearly wiped out by raiders. Anyway, they got their good points and their bad. Just like a lot of the old governments from before the war. I don't really have a problem with them. People around here tend to see them as invading marauders planning to burn and pillage the countryside. But I've been to Arizona, boss. Before the Legion, it was a nasty place. So thick with raiders you couldn't trade with a town 2 miles up the road. Caesar's laws aren't nice, and their actions aren't always pretty. But then neither am I. But you keep me around. Sure, boss. I saw lots of guys like that while I was held prisoner by an insane super mutant in an isolated mountain fortress. Can you narrow it down? Benny, huh? Sorry, boss. Doesn't ring a bell. Then again, my brain isn't as sharp as it used to be. You never heard of Petro Chico? Un amigo de Poseidon Energy. Of course not. They were an oil company in Mexico back before the war. I'm an open book, boss. Granted, the book's in Spanish and some of the pages have fallen out, but I'm an open book. Maybe, but what if he really doesn't have it? That wasn't what I meant, really. I'm not much use besides being a portable encyclopedia, really. I guess you could use me as a pack Brahmin. But my knees aren't so good anymore. I'm still half decent with a pistol. Not fantastic, but good enough. These old bones aren't much use in hand-to-hand fighting, though. I can keep your gear in good working order, too. If you notice, your stuff takes a lot longer to break. Well, you can thank me with a sarsaparilla. Felt good to put the old vaquero outfit on again. Feel a lot sharper with a pistol now. I still wouldn't put these old bones on the front line. I can also do maintenance work on your stuff. I don't have the supplies for a real repair job, but I can keep your gear working longer. Did I say us? I meant him. Guess my eyesight isn't the only thing that's going. I don't have the supplies for a real repair job, but I can do some routine maintenance to keep your gear working longer. It won't exactly get better, but it'll get worse slower. Maybe, yeah, I guess you got a point there. I found it in a custom shop. It was sort of my calling card. You know, Raul the Ghoul, the zombie vaquero of Mexico City. Sure, boss. I'm sure you got a lot to think about. Old enough to know better, boss. Old enough to know better. I was born in 2047, boss. If you do the math on that, I'm sure you'll get within a decade or so. Yeah, I suppose you're right. Guys like us can't compete anymore. It's stupid, boss. I used to listen to the radio broadcast, just to pass the time. Well, one day the signal stopped, so I figured I'd try to find a transmitter. I'm a pretty good repairman. Or I was before my eyes started to go. Anyway, I found Black Mountain and offered my services. But Tabitha decided I was useful enough to keep around. Permanently. What do you think of guys like Ranger Andy? Well, boss, when a giant, insane super mutant asks you to stay put, you do what you're told. Well, maybe you don't. But I'm just a broke-down old man. Yeah, I suppose you could still teach. Take a less active role in the world. That's not so bad. Boss, usually when somebody gives you a name and nothing else, it's because that's all they want to give you. I was born just outside Mexico City. My family had a little ranch there. I was born just outside Mexico City. My family had a little ranch there. After they died, I took my little sister, my Rafaela, to Mexico City. We lived there a while. Then I moved on and ended up here. I'd rather not talk about it anymore. I was born just outside Mexico City. My family had a little ranch there. After they died, I took my little sister, my Rafaela, to Mexico City. She died there, so I moved on. I came across an old Petro Chico refinery, found Miguel's jumpsuit, and decided to hang up the guns for good. I was born just outside Mexico City. My family had a little ranch there. After they died, I took my little sister, my Rafaela, to Mexico City. She died there, so I moved on. I came across an old Petro Chico refinery, found Miguel's jumpsuit, and decided to hang up the guns for good. I headed up into Tucson and lived there as old Miguel for a while. Things were okay, then they got bad, and I headed west to the Mojave. And that, boss, is all she wrote. I sort of figured you had your own reasons for keeping me around, boss. Yeah, okay, boss. Take your time. Not like I'm a decrepit old man who might keel over dead any minute. Probably because it used to be Miguel's. That's nice of you to say, boss. But I'm an old man. Not much use to anybody anymore. Time was. I was a pretty good shot with a pistol. I guess I'm still half decent. These old bones aren't much use in hand-to-hand fighting, though. I can also do maintenance work on your stuff. I don't have the supplies for a real repair job, but I can keep your gear working longer. I mean, guys who have a world of experience doing what they do would have to give it up because they're getting old and slow or too injured. You forget about me already, boss? You sure you didn't take a blow to the head or something? My name is Raul Alfonso Tejada. I'm starting to think you haven't been paying attention, boss. Raul Alfonso Tejada, former gunslinger and sole survivor of Hidalgo Ranch, at your service. Always happy to repeat myself for you, boss. Raul Alfonso Tejada, former gunslinger, sole survivor of Hidalgo Ranch, and ghost of Mexico City, at your service. Always happy to repeat myself for you, boss. Raul Alfonso Tejada, a.k.a. Old Miguel, former gunslinger, sole survivor of Hidalgo Ranch and ghost of Mexico City, at your service. Sure, boss. I know you've got a lot on your mind. What with all that wandering the empty desert waste, you're preaching to the choir here, boss. Once a man's prime is behind him, he should let it go. Okay, boss, when you feel like availing yourself of my centuries of experience, you know where I'll be. Meeting Corporal Sterling, well, it kind of got me thinking. Here's a guy that's been beat all to hell, right? I mean, he could have retired from the service, but instead he signs back on and does what he can. You think he did the right thing? That's what I love about you, boss. The pity you show for the less fortunate than you, even if he can't use it anymore. Isn't that like asking you to come up with one of your brilliant schemes after suffering a crippling head wound? Oh, another one, I mean? You think so, boss? Because I remember a time when a lot of people stuck to their duty no matter what. It ended with nuclear bombs falling on my hometown. Maybe we made a mistake. It was early on. We didn't know just how serious it was out there. But to say they deserved it, what kind of devil are you, boss? It's a question I've asked myself often enough. Would it surprise you to know that I used to be a gun-slinging adventurer? About 24 men came back in the night after we'd gone to sleep. They set fire to the ranch house and barred the doors from the outside. My whole family was trapped inside. I smelt the smoke, and I got myself and my little sister Rafaela out through a window. But everyone else, my parents, my grandmother, my 2 brothers, and 2 of my sisters, all died. That fear's always been a part of my life. Rafaela and I ran. We were pursued by some of the men who attacked our home, but I was always a good shot. The ones who came after us, I killed. The rest, I left be. I had to take care of Rafaela, not throw my life away on revenge. I know that, boss. That's not what I'm getting at. I'm just getting sentimental in my old age. Anyways, forget it. Just wanted that off my chest. A memory from a long time ago. Yeah, it beats dying alone in the wasteland because you were too slow. Not really, boss. No. That loyal guy. He's getting up there in years, but he still finds a way to make himself useful to his people. If you ask me, that's better than withering away all alone or holding on to some faded piece of glory from your past. Maybe, but what if you miss the old days sometimes? Eventually my father started turning people away before we ran out of food. Things got violent. My father and I got our guns, and we drove them off. Just a few days after Mexico City was vaporized, refugees started pouring down the road to our ranch. We helped who we could, but there were so many. I guess it reminds me of my own life. Maybe. I don't know. All I know is that for all my skills with a pistol, I couldn't help them. Anyway, that was weighing on my mind. Thanks for letting me get it out in the open, boss. Sure, boss, whenever's good for you. I've probably got 3, maybe 4 months before I keel over. He reminds me of me in some ways. Old history, boss. Sure, boss, whenever's good for you. Whatever you say, boss. I'll just stay back here and be quiet in case you have a sudden flash of brilliance you need to share. Yeah, that's what I thought, too. A little bit of both, I guess. I don't think it was as hard hit as D.C. or Bakersfield. But it was bad enough. By the time we got there, the city was a radioactive ruin. Still, the city was full of looters, already forming into the beginnings of raider tribes. Crime was bad before the war, but now it was a nightmare. We were living like scavengers, scraping by on what little food we could find, always looking for medicine for my burns. And then, of course, the radiation started to kick in, turning me into this handsome devil you see before you. Really? Thanks for the reminder, boss. I'd almost forgotten. You think so? Well, you're the boss. Okay, I'll give it a try. But if I get killed, and if there's an afterlife, I'll haunt your ass. It was. I started to build up a legend. Sometimes it headed off trouble, but most of the times it just started more. Young punks looking to prove themselves would come looking for me, but my eyes were sharp and my guns were quick. For a while, it seemed like we might even survive there. Until Rafaela. This was a long time ago, before Caesar's Legion pacified Arizona and brought the raider tribes to heel. A tribe came into Tucson one day. More a gang, really. Dirty Dave and his 6 brothers. They were looking for bullets, and I sold some to them. I figured if I did that, they'd leave town before they tore it up too much. Getting there, boss. I'd been in Tucson. The locals can call it Tucson all they want, but it's Tucson, damn it. About 75 years when she showed up. Prettiest thing you ever saw, boss. Maybe it was just a trick of my senile brain, but I swear she looked just like my Rafaela. Her name was Claudia. She ended up taking work at one of the brothels in town. I never went to her, of course. How could I? But I looked after her in my own way. I left Mexico City behind. I made my way out to the Gulf Coast. Eventually, I found an old Petro Chico refinery nobody had claimed. I stayed there for a little while, and I thought a lot about my life. I thought about the guns I'd lived by and what they'd gotten me. I decided my guns hadn't gotten me anything, and it was time to give it up. I took off the old vaquero outfit and put on a Petro Chico jumpsuit. The name tag said Miguel, so I started using the name myself. Eventually, I made it to Arizona. That's another story, boss. Name's Raul. Raul Alfonso Tejada. I'm the mechanic around here. Oh, sure thing. I haven't even remotely grown sick of staring at this place. Talk to me at my shack. I've at least got tools there. Probably because it used to be Miguel's. Whoever he was. How about if you let me go, huh, boss? I went after Dave and his brothers. They had a head start, but they slept nights. I didn't. Took me 3 days to catch up to them. Claudia was dead when I got there. They put a bullet in each of her eyes. I couldn't do anything except avenge her, just like Rafaela. I charged into the middle of their camp and started firing. 2 of them were dead before they knew I was there. The other 5, though, they shot the shit out of me. I would have died, I think, if I wasn't so full of rage. By being a meaner old cuss than the rest of them, boss. I wanted to keep living until they weren't. So I just kept shooting until they were all dead. I was in pretty bad shape in the end, though. I don't know how long I laid there, with the sun baking me and the buzzards chomping at me. Eventually, I got the strength to start moving. Some long time after that, I managed to drag my carcass back to town. You're a poet of understatement, boss. But there were moments it was almost worth it. I still remember finding that novelty costume shop. I was just looking around for something I could slice up to wrap my burns when I saw the vaquero outfit hanging on the rack like it hadn't been touched. I took it, not like anybody else needed it, you know, and wore it back to our camp. Rafaela laughed, for the first time since the bombs had fallen. Oh, sure, boss. I was always good at fixing things. Some I fixed for the town, some I fixed for other people, some I fixed just for the hell of it. It's a better way to use your hands than killing. And even then, I wasn't getting any younger or faster. I lived there for a long time, kept to myself, didn't get into any fights. Hell, the only reason I even kept my guns oiled was professional pride. You can bet on that, boss. Terrible doesn't begin to cover it, boss. I led my whole family down. First the ranch, now Rafaela. I was the last Tejada. I guess maybe I went a little crazy then. I took my guns and went back to that market. I didn't have many bullets, but I had enough. After the raiders were dead, I salvaged what I could from the store. I was tired. I just wanted to be alone forever. No, boss. No, they didn't. As I was saying, I hoped they'd leave the town in peace. Instead, they decided to stop at Claudia's brothel to take the edge off. I don't know which one of them got rowdy first, but by the time I heard the screams and got my guns, it was too late. They shot up the brothel, killed 4 girls, and taken Claudia for their sport. She went out to find some food one day. I was sick, so I stayed at our camp. I guess it must have been the beginning of radiation poisoning. Anyway, it was supposed to be safe, but some raiders happened to pass through where she was scavenging. I won't speak of what they did to her. When I found her body, the only way to recognize her was this funny little scar on her knee from when she was a little girl. When I recovered, more or less anyways, I left Tucson and headed west. I ran into Tabitha at Black Mountain, and well, the rest you know. I swore I was done with the gunslinging life. I was too old, too slow, and too beat up to protect anyone anymore. I thought I was done forever, but after traveling with you, I realized I've always had my doubts. When I recovered, more or less anyways, I left Tucson and headed west. I ran into Tabitha at Black Mountain, and well, the rest you know. I swore I was done with the gunslinging life. I was too old, too slow, and too beat up to protect anyone anymore. After seeing what you go through, I think I made the right choice. So thanks for that, boss. When I recovered, more or less anyways, I left Tucson and headed west. I ran into Tabitha at Black Mountain, and well, the rest you know. I swore I was done with the gunslinging life. I was too old, too slow, and too beat up to protect anyone anymore. I thought I was done forever, but after traveling with you, I realized that was the wrong decision. So thanks for that, boss. About whether I still had what it took to carry my pistols proudly, to use them to do what's right. And now that I've been traveling with you for a while, you made me realize that I can still do that. Maybe I'm not as tough as I used to be, but my brains can make up for that. And my hands are still quick enough. It's time to put the guns back on. About whether I'm really too old to keep living the life of a gunslinger after all. And after seeing what you go through, boss, I think I am. From now on, I'll let you deal with the fighting and stick to keeping your gear working. I don't want to slow you down more than I already do. Thanks, boss. I'd hate to think I was disappointing you with my life-altering decision. I suppose you're right, boss. These bones are too old for that kind of action. I'm sure you've got a lot of ideas, boss. But how about you let me make this decision? Tell you what, I'll at least think about it for a while. Ask me about it again another time. I'm sure you've got a lot of ideas, boss. But how about you let me make this decision? Tell you what, I'll at least think about it for a while. Ask me about it again another time. No. No, boss. I'm a prisoner of the crazy super mutant with the wig and the glasses. I was kind of hoping you were here to set me free. But maybe I'm not a pretty enough damsel for that. Huh? Name's Raul. Raul Alfonso Tejada. I'm the mechanic around here. You forget about me already, boss? You sure you didn't take a blow to the head or something? My name is Raul Alfonso Tejada. Can I leave now? Or did you want to ask me again in 5 minutes? Sorry. I assumed the only reason you'd fight past a horde of super mutants and pick the lock on my cell is if you heard my cry for help on the radio. But maybe you're just sightseeing. So since the door's open and all, can I go now? Yeah, maybe you can introduce them to me, if we find them, because I've never met one. Anything's better than staying here. Let's go. Sorry, boss, but as much as I like to risk getting killed by your side, you seem to already have some help. Sure, boss. Took you long enough. So can I go now? What can I do for you, boss? Oh, it's you. You need something repaired or something? I haven't heard a fresh batch of crazy coming out of the radio in a while. Does that mean I can leave? Back again? Can I go this time, or do you have something else in mind? Over-elaborate mob schemes to take over Vegas. Reminds me of the days before the war. I can't believe we were allowed inside the Lucky 38. That place has been a legend since before the war. Angry soldier robots with bazookas. I'm sure there'll be a good police force. Maybe I'm just old and tired. But being locked in a cool, dark pod to sleep for a few centuries doesn't sound so bad. Boss! Yuck! Don't worry, boss. I'm sure Caesar just wants to invite you over for coffee or something. That's all. Just to be clear, we're not planning to visit any NCR facilities, right, boss? Like ever again? Well, the president's dead. But don't worry. History has shown that that sort of thing always never leads to massive destabilization or world wars. Never been a big fan of gangs like the Fiends, boss. I'm glad they're gone. The cons didn't seem so bad to me. But what do I know? I was locked up in a cell by a crazy nightkin for years. Do you often go toe-to-toe with guys dressed as tanks, boss? That might not be great for your life expectancy. I'm sure pissing off a ruthless warlord with a tribe of fanatically devoted warriors was a good move. How could it not be? It was your idea. Charging a casino full of heavily armed gangsters was a great idea, boss. Definitely not the kind of thing that could have gotten us both killed. Not to worry, boss. I'm sure killing the boss of one of the families will in no way lead to savage, bloody reprisals against you and your loved ones. If we run, we might still catch Benny. Well, you might. I'll just be wheezing along behind you. You really enjoy dragging me into situations where I get shot at, don't you, boss? Hey, boss, that surgery reminded me of something. I got this funny lump right down here. Think you'd take a look at it? I'm glad you decided to off one of the most powerful men in the Mojave. Life was getting boring anyway. Really. Yes, Caesar, let's give you brain surgery in a tent. That can't possibly go wrong. Caesar's death reminds me of an old saying. I can't quite remember it now. Something like, Sic Semper Tyrannosaurus? Oh, good. Now there's an army of robots. You don't do things by halves, do you, boss? Did blowing up that vault serve any purpose? Or do you just like explosions? Those poor NCR soldiers. Now where will they get their hookers and gambling? Be honest. You did it for the ticker tape parades, huh, boss? Don't worry, boss. I'll make sure your biography says you heroically changed your mind about killing the president. Not choked under pressure. I'm sure pissing off a massive government with a huge army at its disposal was a good move. How could it not be? It was your idea. I'm sure pissing off the two most powerful factions in the Mojave was a good move. How could it not be? It was your idea. Don't worry, boss. I'm sure the sudden tension in the air is just a thunderstorm. Okay, so maybe I was wrong about the thunderstorm thing. I admit it. Looks like this is gonna be the big one, boss. If you're ready, I'm with you. Ugh! Boss, are you trying to destroy my knees even faster than nature? Ugh, wearing this is not going to be good to me. How'd you know I had a sweet tooth, boss? Sarsaparilla. That's just what this dry old throat needs. You're gonna rot my teeth, boss. What's left of them, anyways. Your memory's like a steel trap, boss. What do you think of guys like Ranger Andy? Yeah, boss? It's like looking into a mirror. A tacky cowboy festoon mirror. See? That's why you should retire before your brain goes. Oh, sorry, boss. Bad choice of words. That loyal guy? He's getting up there in years. But he still finds a way to make himself useful to his people. If you ask me, that's better than withering away all alone or holding on to some faded piece of glory from your past. You got the caps, I got the skills. Sure, boss. I'd be happy to prolong my captivity and psychological abuse to tighten some lug nuts for you. Sure, I'll just pull a toolbox out from behind a conveniently placed rock and get to work. Hey, I'm one of you. Don't eat me. Eat the smooth skin. Oh, sorry, boss. Sure, boss. What do you want to know? That's what I love about you, boss. Your firm belief that one day you'll actually remember things people tell you. What do you want to hear about? I grew up in a place called Hidalgo Ranch, just outside Mexico City. It wasn't much, just a bit of a farm, with a house for 3 generations of Tejadas. This was before the war. We were far enough away from Mexico City when the bombs fell that we missed the worst of it. But things got bad quick. I wasn't the best behaved kid. I was quick with my hands, with a pistol or a wrench. And I wasn't afraid to get into fights over it. I never killed anybody, but I had my share of run-ins with the police. Mostly my family kept me in line. After the fire, I knew my sister and I couldn't stay at Hidalgo Ranch anymore. The refugees still wanted me dead. They even put a bounty on me. We figured maybe we could find help in Mexico City. We were young. We didn't know what had happened, really. We didn't understand about the bombs. I remember how scared Rafaela was. I told her if she came with me, we'd see the vaqueros. She used to love the rodeo, especially the trick riders. I left everything when I left Mexico. My home, my family, my name, even my face. I know it's surprising, boss, but I wasn't always just handsome. As far as the world knows, I was Miguel, and I was okay with that. I headed north for a while and ended up in Tucson. Not Tucson, by the way. Things were good there. Well, maybe not good, but better than Mexico City anyways. I found myself a little shack and started fixing things. How'd you know I had a sweet tooth, boss? Sarsaparilla. That's just what this dry old throat needs. You're going to rot my teeth, boss. What's left of them, anyways. That wig is going to haunt my nightmares. Seriously. After a long and eventful life, Raul's luck finally ran out during his time with the courier. Still grappling with self-doubt over his usefulness in the face of old age, Raul was never able to find peace with himself. Eventually, he left the Mojave and assumed a new name, as he had done so many times before. Invigorated by his travels with the courier, Raul once more took up his guns in memory of his lost Rafaela. Soon after, the Mojave was filled with tales of the ghost vaquero who hunts down those who prey on the weak. Convinced that his time as a gunslinger was past, Raul made peace with the idea of growing old. After traveling with the courier for a time, he retired and settled down in outer Vegas, where he would spend his days fixing ancient machinery. Guess my eyes weren't playing tricks after all. Gotcha. We got company, boss. Sorry, boss. Must be my glaucoma's acting up again. If you say you saw something, I'm sure it was there. Nothing here, boss. Let's move on. This armor's beat up worse than me, boss. This armor's probably fine. The holes are cosmetic. Wow, I'm actually still alive. Who would have guessed? I'm sure our victory was purely thanks to your brilliant leadership, boss. I guess old guys are tougher than we look, huh? Well, crap. Damn. Might want to watch the explosives, boss. Duck and cover! You're the boss, boss. Good call. I mean, if that's what you really want, boss. Your decisiveness is truly a wonder to behold, boss. That's why you're the boss. You always make the right decisions. I'll just head home. Home to my lonely abandoned shack in the middle of nowhere. Hey, as long as you're not asking me to go back to Black Mountain, I'm a happy old man. Sorry, boss, but as much as I like to risk getting killed by your side, you seem to already have some help. Words cannot contain my excitement at the chance to throw myself headlong into danger with you again, boss. Right behind you, boss. Hey, don't worry about it, boss. The decrepit old man can easily carry all your stuff for you. Really, keeping quiet. Unless my creaky knees give us away. Sure, boss. The old man will crawl around in the dirt to keep hidden. This crouch walking is hell on my back, boss. Right, because a ghoul in a vaquero outfit is really going to blend in with the scenery. Don't strain yourself, boss. Right, got it. I'll just stop using this melee weapon and instead use a melee weapon. Good idea, boss. Sure, I'll stop using my rather effective gun and switch to, this piece of metal tubing here. Great plan, boss. In what way, boss? Right behind you, boss. You mean like the one I'm already using, boss? Sure thing, boss. You got it. Oh, this should be good. What's on your mind, boss? Am I stepping on your shoes or something, boss? I'm always eager for more of your scintillating conversation, boss. You mean like the last time you told me to do that, boss? Got it. I'll be way back here, boss. Whatever you say, boss. Any closer and you'd need a rat away, boss. Oh, I wouldn't dream of getting too far away, boss. I'm already doing that. That's sounding dangerously close to a plan, boss. Just like you said 5 minutes ago. Don't worry, boss. I got it. Shoot first, poke bodies later. Got it, boss. I'm sure you'll be fair and equitable, boss. I expect to be awed by your dizzying mercantile sense, boss. Okay, boss. I'll just wait here, alone, while my heavily armed companion goes out of earshot. I'm sure nothing will happen. Just keep on moving. I got my eye on you, even if it doesn't see so good. These bones are about to give up the ghost, boss. Rafaela. I'll see you soon. Never thought I'd go out like this. Well, that sure is a dead body there, boss. I'm sure that was a cleverly planned act, boss, and not just random psychosis. That one won't be breathing anytime soon. Ouch. Boss, if I heard something, you really should have heard something. I think we got company. Hello? Get him, boss. I mean, if that fits with your schedule. Don't worry, boss. With my cataracts, you only sort of look like the bad guys. Yeah, time for more fighting. I know. I'm not touching that one with a 10-foot pole. You can get involved if you want to, but I'll be over here. Hate to criticize, boss, but I'm not actually immortal, just old. Come on, boss. I know I'm ugly, but I am on your side. If you want me to split, you could just say so. I wouldn't mind this so much if it weren't for that maniacal gleam in your eye. You want to point that someplace else, boss? I got enough holes in me. Boss, why are you looking at me that way? Do I hear beeping, boss? I think I hear beeping. Oh, good, mines. Oh, sure. Lay mines around the arthritic old man who doesn't see so good. Thanks, boss. Grenade! Sure, boss. You lead the charge. I'll follow as fast as my arthritic, rotting knees can carry me. You want to send an elderly, half-decrepit ghoul into combat? Your tactical brilliance is unmatched, boss. Sure thing, boss. You betcha. That makes me feel young again. Now, wait. That's just the med-X talking. There. Now my limbs should stay attached for a while longer. That should fix the damage. Well, this isn't doing much of anything. Not sure I'm having any impact here, boss. Boss, I'm having some inadequacy issues here. Got a bigger gun I can borrow? Okay. Well, I guess I can let it go this time. I'm looking. Hope you're looking, boss. because I don't see so good. Hey, not so rough. I break easy. Knock it off. Okay, I guess we're doing this. Let's dance. I've been doing this longer than you, pal. Ah! Might want to watch it there, boss. Yikes! Watch it! Oh, come on, don't make the old guy chase you. I can't see him. Boss, where'd he go? Ah! Oh! Ah! This old man's retreating, boss! Yeah, I really don't want to be here right now. Oh, sure, make the old man run. Ah! Boss, the pain from my wound. It's starting to outweigh the pain from my arthritis. Little help here, boss. Wouldn't say no to something to ease the pain. Granted, that's usually the case, but right now, especially. Hey, boss, is my jaw still attached? Good. Can I get some help to keep it that way? Oh! Ah! Oh! 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 Still looking, boss. Amazingly, they still manage to outwit a half-blind arthritic ghoul. Don't worry, boss. You'll know if I find anything. There we go. Couldn't even hide from a half-blind old ghoul. How embarrassing for you. Got him, boss. Maybe they just went home, huh, boss? I got nothing here. Doubtless they ran away in sheer terror of the mighty Raul. Oh, and you too, boss. Whoa, 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 boss! What the hell? Boss, you really think that's a good idea? Oh, good. The boss is murdering people now. Excellent. I'm all out, boss. I can throw the gun at him if you want, boss. Could I trouble you for some bullets, boss? You know, those little lead things that fly really fast and hurt people. I need some. Ah! 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 Well, this isn't good. I think I've been poisoned, boss. That one had a little kick to it. The poisonous kind of kick. Boss, I got a poison situation here. Oh, that eases the aches. Not all of them, but some. That feels better. I might not die for a while yet. Much better. Boss, if you just ask, I'll hand it to you. Probably. Boss, why do my pants suddenly feel lighter? Look, boss, I appreciate you not making me carry that, but come on. Am I dead? Is this heaven? Oh. Hi, boss. Guess not. Oh, boss, take a look around and see if any of my parts are lying around. Huh? I've woken up in worse places. Not many, though. Oh, Petro Chico Boy! Petro Chico Boy is here after my chicharrones! Oh, just a dream. Just a dream. What a piece of junk. My weapon broke. Probably my fault. You got a spare piece, boss? Or do I have to break out the tubing?